welcome to another episode of
Zeng This.
Yeah. So, wow. Big week. Big week for trailers, content, lots of stuff.
Lots of fun stuff.
So, I guess right off the bat I'm just going to do the Deadpool 2 trailer.
Sure. Yeah.
Apparently it did air at the beginning of some of the Logan movies, which came out this Friday. Definitely, I mean, we watched it. Great homage to Superman. Had the thing that said Nathan is coming,
Yep.
which of course refers to Cable, if you're not aware. So there's definitely going to be Cable, and it's still not 100% sure on who's going to be playing him. They haven't really finalized that. Mm-hmm. So who knows? I thought it was funny they had the Firefly poster in the background for some reason.
I love that. That was great.
They had him changing in the phone booth to the Superman music.
I think they showed a lot more than you normally see of Superman.
Yeah, for a Marvel thing, it was very Superman heavy. So, and of course, the person he was trying to save got shot because he pointed out it took him forever to.
I was just talking. It was a little more mature rated than what you normally see in the phone booth.
Yes, and he was definitely not faster than a speeding bullet.
No.
Definitely not.
It was entertaining though.
So that was a lot of fun. I'm very excited for Deadpool 2. So anything they're showing us is a lot of fun. It was a nice little skit to lead into Logan, which we would love to discuss, but that's for another time and place.
Yes. Too much stuff going on tonight.
Too much stuff. Way too much stuff. So I guess sticking with Marvel, they also released a trailer since our previous episode on Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Volume 2, which actually showed Kurt Russell's character.
Yeah.
Ego the living planet, but he was a person.
Yeah, well.
So we'll see what happens with that. I thought it was a cool trailer. It showed a little bit more. There's, of course, tons of trailer breakdowns of everything.
I always forget his name. Zandu?
Yondu? Yeah.
I knew how to get it's do something. I kind of like that he's being kind of a good guy this time around. He seems like it at least.
Here's the thing. There's a part in it where you see Rocket, and if you notice something red near his head, it's the arrow.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if that's when there's the whole flip-flop of
I don't know.
the power struggle that's going on with the Ravengers during that time. Is they're trying to capture Rocket or something, and he goes easy on him, and the one guy gets tired of that and tries to overthrow him.
Right.
Because he doesn't have his big mohawk thing during that time, which we know they have to get later from a trailer they showed earlier. Mm-hmm. So definitely excited about it.
Yes.
It's really cool to see everybody. I thought it was very funny, with the baby Groot during the battle where
I can't get enough of Baby Groot.
Where he was waving and everything.
Yes. I like the end of the trailer where they do the typical like from the top kind of to the side, like where they show all of the new characters, like they show everybody including is it Mantis? Yes, and some of the other characters. So I thought that was a cool little poster. It kind of reminded me of the epic scene from the one Avengers movie where they showed it from this side.
The one where they did the whole spin around.
Yeah, it kind of gave me not as epic, but it kind of gave me that feeling. So it was kind of cool.
Well, that was definitely a great trailer and everything. I'm excited for Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sure we'll have plenty more discussions on Guardians of the Galaxy coming up soon.
Yes, please.
So yay on that. I guess sticking with comic book movies and stuff. Ellie. Question for you.
What?
What's faster than a speeding bullet? More powerful than a locomotive? And able to jump into our news segments in a single bound?
What?
It's DC News.
Yes. DC movie news.
DC movie news, correct. So, I know there is a lot of talk about some stuff, but I only kind of snipped it out what I wanted to this week. So, sorry if you're looking for bigger DC news.
It's our podcast. We say what we want to.
Yeah. With that, they did show this test footage, I guess. It was very short and very blurry and very hard to make out some stuff in, but it was Aquaman. Yeah. I'm assuming in Atlantis. And
swimmy.
You know what? The Batman situation is what it is.
We're just
the Justice League situation is what it is.
No.
As much as I want... I really want an Aquaman movie to work. I know this is cheesy and everything, but just I think they did a great job with casting. Is he the blonde-haired, version of Aquaman.
I kind of like this version.
I like it too, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like this is the only way, because it would be cheesy to have him try to be comic book accurate to his, orange suit with the blonde hair.
I mean, and a lot of people don't give Aquaman enough credit. He's
No,
pretty
they don't.
BA.
He's pretty powerful, actually.
Yeah.
He commands the sea. I mean, he's ruler of the oceans
Yes.
and everything. That covers a good chunk of the planet. So I mean, he's in charge of all that.
Right.
So
a lot on his plate.
yeah. So I mean, I everything I've seen for this looks cool. I'm excited about at least the Aquaman portion. Hopefully they can do a good job with it, because we haven't seen an Aquaman before. So I mean, in the movies and everything.
Yeah.
So there's kind of nothing to compare it to. So I'm just hoping for maybe DC will at least be able to get that out half right or right or just whatever. We'll see what happens.
We're hoping.
Moving away from that situation in DC to,
Yes.
I guess, something fun. DuckTales. Why not?
Sure.
So they released some stuff.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Yes.
Yes.
They first looks at the new show that's coming out where they're rebooting it.
I like the art style.
I like the art style too. It looks fun. It had the music and everything. So I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I remember watching this as a kid. Am I a diehard fan of it? Meh. Is it cool to see it again? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I landed on this one.
Yeah.
So that's definitely cool. So if you're a fan, definitely check that out.
I think it'll be fun for the new generation and the
Yes.
ones that have seen it before.
Because probably people who watched that as a kid have kids now that they
Right.
can watch it with. So that would be definitely a good generational gap thing there. So definitely excited to see some resurgence of stuff. Maybe we'll get Tailspin and Darkwing Duck 2. Who knows? Maybe just a huge resurgence of just
Darkwing Duck.
Yes. So just speeding right along to another trailer. Alien Covenant. You asked me a good question when we were watching it.
Sorry, I don't mean to sound ignorant.
If you want to repeat real quick.
I was just wondering what the timeline was for this. Like, how does it relate to the other Alien movies?
I didn't look it up. I have not done that much research on it yet. I just kind of saw the trailer.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it takes place after Prometheus.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Right.
I don't know if I'm right. If anyone wants to let us know, I'd appreciate that, because I didn't look it up, because I'm just kind of like trying to go into it a little bit blindly.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
alien looked
sometimes
cool.
if you know too much beforehand.
The alien looked cool. There was, the whole references to what happened in Prometheus and stuff like that, showing the ships and all that stuff. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm excited for a new Alien movie. At the same time, though, I kind of like the Aliens, still my favorite, I guess, out of the series. So we'll see what happens. Because I think there's still supposed to be another Prometheus movie too. So I don't know. That whole thing just seems like there's just stuff going on with it. So
yeah.
Who knows? So I guess we'll move into some quick gaming news too, since we've got some of that to talk about.
Well, I have something.
Okay.
You remember that game that I spent hundreds of hours on, Sleeping Dogs?
Oh, yes.
Oh my, lots of hours. They're thinking about making a movie.
I thought they were making a movie.
Is
Impossible.
Is it definite?
Once again, who knows?
Okay.
But the
Can I say I'm a little hurt?
Why's that?
Because I'd rather have a sequel game than a movie. I know.
Though the supposed casting of Donnie Yen was pretty cool. I mean, I think that's cool. I think he did a great job in Star Wars for Rogue One. I mean, we'll of course be discussing that in a few months. Other gaming news, of course, Destiny 2 is possibly being announced right on the horizon.
Yeah, I'll let you take that.
Will characters and stuff carry over? Apparently, no. Apparently, all the progress you made will not carry over. Now, this has not been 100% confirmed, but early speculation is that you can carry over like your physical character, like his or her look and stuff like that, which my character looks awful and I wish I could change it. But apparently that you can transfer over, and they will do something for like longtime players who've done a lot of stuff.
Okay.
But like if you have like the highest grade weapons and stuff, it's not gonna, none of that's carrying over, which I think is cool to get a fresh start. But at the same time, if you put as many hours as a lot of people have, and you just kind of get to transfer over your character's look, I don't know. I'm hoping they can at least give you something to acknowledge, hey, I did all this in the previous one. Now I'm in this. Maybe not a stat boost, maybe an item of some sort.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking a stat boost would kind of once again give those people an unfair push to do more and more and more and more and more.
And I apologize because I don't play Destiny that much. Does it have a title system? You know how you can earn titles in certain games?
No, it does not.
I was thinking like if it had some kind of title thing,
who knows? The new one might.
They could have like
We'll just have to see what they announce whenever they finally make an official announcement. It's just early speculation is stuff won't transfer, except for like I said, your character's look and class,
right?
And that's it.
Okay.
So more gaming news. Yeah. There's a trailer release that I think came out of left field because. I don't know if I was just off and not paying attention, but Shadow of War.
Yeah, interesting.
Middle Earth Shadow of War,
yes.
which was a follow-up to Shadow of Mordor, which, I mean, both me and you played that.
Yes. You played it a little more than I did, I think.
I liked it. It was very similar to Batman in the combat. The combat, 100% the combat. Everyone's going to be like, what, you were able to throw around batarangs? No, you were able to, the combat
I want to go
flowing.
back and play it more. I got distracted. There's some other game that came out near it, and I started playing something else.
The Nemesis system, I thought, was one of the most interesting parts of that game.
Yeah,
where,
that
like,
was
if you got killed by somebody, they could move up in the ranks. They could get different, they could get guards and stuff like that. So that was interesting. And you
really need to set your character up good in this game.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
The previous one, if you got into certain areas or got into certain stuff, it could really mess you up.
Yes.
That was a fun game, so I'm excited to see them following it up with something. The trailer looks interesting.
A little confusing.
I got questions.
Yes.
I can't remember the mythology of it, and it's not following anything that's been pre-existing, and my voice keeps getting higher as I talk about this, and I'm done.
Oh, thank goodness.
So, that...
That was really scary.
Yes, it was.
I can't hear out of my one ear now.
So, I guess finally in games, there's something that came out on Friday, a new system.
What? No.
Nintendo Switch.
What up, Nintendo?
So we'd love to talk about that, but we actually have an episode later this month devoted entirely to us playing it, having a guest on.
Hey, I'm keeping an open mind.
There you go. We're going to have a guest on later this month after we play it with them, and they're going to give us kind of the rundown on their feelings on it, and we're going to discuss it.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess before we jump into the topic today, which is a very fun one.
I'm excited.
Ellie gets to talk about anime, so I know that she's really excited about that. Mm-hmm. There is something that has been on my mind, and I keep forgetting to bring up.
Yes,
and I kind of want to bring it up now.
Does it have to do about people and colors and everything?
It has to do with a movie coming out very shortly.
I know.
Power Rangers.
Pink and red and...
Well, here's my theory, and this might be already on the internet, so if I'm stepping on anyone's toes, I'm sorry. I just kind of noticed this myself.
It's okay. It's a free country. You can talk.
Bingo.
Tell us your thoughts.
I believe... So they've shown Rita.
Okay. Yep.
From the Power Rangers movie. She obviously has green accents to her. A lot of green. Not something that was a normal thing. Her little staff has like a little gem in it that has a green shade to it. Now, this might be something that might be even confirmed. I don't know because I haven't looked up too much on this movie to know.
Right.
But I think she's the Green Ranger. Or that she has the ability to make a Green Ranger in that little crystal thing.
Okay.
Because it looks very much like the ones that they find in the trailer.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm wondering, is she a previous Ranger or something? Because apparently Zordon is allegedly, it's supposed to be revealed that he used to be a Ranger. And that's why he's like in stasis or something maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. This is I've looked up some stuff, but this is just my theory.
Okay.
Is that she is actually a Ranger of the green variety. And at the end of the movie, someone else will become the Green Ranger.
Interesting.
Leading into sequel.
What, Tommy? No, just kidding.
I mean, I'm sure he could do it. Why not?
Hey, if you want to see Tommy, go to AwesomeCon this year.
Yes. We have more on AwesomeCon.
Yes.
We'll actually discuss that probably at the end of the episode.
Okay, we can do that.
We can talk about that real quick.
Yes, sir.
Checked off all of our boxes for news. A lot of stuff.
Yes.
And would you like to explain to people what anime we're going to be discussing today?
Yes, I would love to. So there's this little ditty called Magi.
And where could they let's say someone wants to watch that
right
after you're done listening to the podcast.
Once again, we're gonna say we are not paid by Netflix
or sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form.
They just have some stuff on it that's pretty awesome. Now it may be on Hulu too. I don't want to say it's not on Hulu
Or Crunchyroll, for all we know.
Well, I'm sure it's on Crunchyroll, but you get to so many streaming shows and things that you can only pay for so many. But yes, Magi there's a first season, and there's a first season, Labyrinth of Magic, and then the second season is Kingdom of Magic. And then, of course, there is the Netflix original, that's Adventures of Sinbad. So there's actually 3 seasons. There's a lot more of the manga and that sort of thing, but as far as the show, there's 3 seasons, 2 focused on overall characters, and then the third one is focused on Sinbad as a child. Well, not a child, but, before he becomes the ruler that he is.
Okay, well, Ellie, you seem to be saying stuff. You seem to be saying, Sinbad, magic, stuff like that. Magi, sorry.
Yes.
Stuff like that. What does all of it mean, though?
Exactly.
Like, I know Sinbad for some reason from something. So does that have a connection? Possibly?
Why do you keep doing that?
I don't know. I really don't know.
It's really scary. I guess if we want to go as broad as possible, we want to try to not really do too many spoilers, because I think people appreciate that more if we can kind of discuss stuff and then not really go into how it ends, so to speak. But basically there is, you heard of Aladdin?
You mean the Disney movie?
Exactly. Well, there's Aladdin, and then Alibaba, Saluja, and then Sinbad, there's a character Jafar. So there's a lot of these similar names that people have probably heard before.
There. Oh, God, I was looking for this stupid name.
What you looking for?
Where the tales come from. Arabian Nights or
okay.
1001.
Okay.
Okay. So, Aladdin.
Yes.
So, I'm assuming when someone says Aladdin, people are going to think of one of 2 things to begin with. Mm-hmm. They're going to either think of the Disney movie.
Oh, definitely. That's the first thing I think of. Yeah.
Which, you did say Jafar as well, which, once again, thinking of the Disney movie.
Right.
Or they
Alibaba.
That
he wasn't really in the first Aladdin, but they did do I think he was in the third one, Prince of Thieves, where Alibaba was Aladdin's dad, and he was the king of the 40 thieves.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, all these stories kind of originate from a certain source, and I'm assuming that's where Disney got the idea and Disneyfied it.
Disneyfied it.
And where this manga / anime got its ideas from, and that probably came from a little set of stories called 1001 Nights, which is a collection of tales from Middle Eastern mythology and South Asian stories as well. Very Arabian themed, or it's also referred to as Arabian Nights.
Okay.
So that's very interesting that these characters have been brought up, and I'm sure I'm going to have some other information about some other characters later, including the ones that we've already discussed. Now, another interesting thing real quick to kind of call back to a previous episode of ours is, if you did continue reading the Fable series, which we did discuss, they do have an Arabian Nights story arc as well in there. So so there's that real quick. If you do continue reading, I can't remember what volume it is off the top of my head, but I know it does pop up. So
it does.
So there's that for you Read This fans who might have continued on with Fable. Maybe we'll cover that one day. Who knows?
So just so we'll just go into a little bit more detail of the first season, Labyrinth of Magic. Is kind of basically what it states. It's when you first meet Aladdin and Alibaba, so you get to learn how they meet each other. And go ahead.
Oh no. Sorry.
Oh, okay. And so basically, Alibaba wants more out of life, and he always wants to go capture a dungeon. He wants to be a dungeon capturer.
So I vaguely have seen this. I've watched a little bit of it with you, but I've kind of gathered this from us having pre-discussion for this show and watching it. It seems very much like almost a video game in the sense of there's a dungeon that you have to conquer. in it, correct? That's the whole point of where they go on these quests through these dungeons like you would in a game sort of thing, right?
Kind of. Yes.
And then you get a huge reward at the end, possible experience.
Well, you do. When you capture a dungeon, then you get to make an alliance with the Djinn of that dungeon.
Interesting. So
you're going through all these different rooms and puzzles and levels to beat all these different lower level monsters and
sub-bosses.
Yep, sub-bosses. Exactly. No, it's true. And then when you finally get to the final boss, the final level, that is the Djinn. So you have to defeat the Djinn, and then once you defeat them, then they honor you by making an alliance with you to where you can, take them, and then basically their essence goes onto your metal vessel. You hear that a lot in the show, is about metal vessel.
So I did some research, knowing that this does cover genies and or Djinn, and it is a veritable endless stuff that you can get into with this.
Yes.
Of course, everyone probably is thinking, oh, you mean like the genie from Aladdin.
Right.
Well, you did mention this, that a lot of the genie, that almost all of the Djinn are blue.
They are blue. Bluish.
Bluish in color, which the genie in Aladdin is. Well, I did some research on Djinn.
Okay, yeah.
Pull my notes out real quick.
Sure.
And apparently, there are different color classes.
Okay.
Now, this is in mythology. This isn't part of this, but
Right. No, yeah, it's interesting.
doing my research, I kind of saw similarities here. And if you guys are big fans of the paranormal and stuff like that, I'm sure whatever your favorite podcast is has possibly covered this stuff. So definitely give them a listen.
Well, yeah, Djinns have been known as evil and tricksters.
Yes.
And all kinds
one
of
the
stuff.
biggest notes here, it says, don't summon them. just period. Don't do it.
And very carefully choose your words.
Yes. Yes. Wishes apparently, if they do grant them for you, can be, your wording is very important.
They'll take it literal.
Yes.
Yes. I can't remember if this was a cartoon or a TV show, but I remember seeing one time where somebody wished for $1 million.
And it was a ton of deer.
Yes. I can't remember what that's. If anybody remembers what that's from, please let us know.
Or it's just from the internet.
But it's the same thing, though. Yeah, you got to be careful how you ask for things.
But they are not to be trusted. Now, tell me where there's a crossover here with my discussion of Djinn lore versus the show's Djinn. So, the blue are supposed to be the oldest ones.
Okay.
Some of the oldest ones. Yellow are, in charge of family groups, allegedly. Green are the younger ones. Red are some of the most powerful ones. And black are supposed to be the rulers. But you said only blue Djinn are in the show for the most part.
You really only see blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's they obviously took something from there.
Yes. Well, and can I piggyback off what you just said?
Yes.
So those colors that you're talking about, they don't have really a bunch of colors related to Djinn, but later on in the second season, Kingdom of Magic,
Yes.
Aladdin is wanting to become stronger and not rely so heavily on the ruh. I love the way they say that in the show. But all magicians there's different ones that they can be associated with, different life or fire or water, whatever the case may be. And those are colors, they bring the colors out in that.
Well, apparently the Djinn also can, and according to some mythology and stuff I was reading, can be associated with certain elements as well.
Correct, and I will piggyback off of that.
Yeah, so that's apparently something they did cover in the show. Another thing is they are apparently Solomon. I don't know if Solomon's been mentioned.
Oh, yes. Actually, Aladdin ends up getting the powers of Solomon.
Okay, because apparently he had a ring, and that ring allowed him to brand genies or Djinn. Now, I'm going to try, from here on out, Djinn. I'm not doing genies. I'm not switching. I keep flip-flopping. I'm just going to do Djinn.
They call him Djinn in the show. So.
I'm just going to do Djinn. Yes. I keep flip-flopping. Djinn from here on out.
Okay.
It allowed him to apparently brand Djinn.
Okay.
Now, you said that they're sealed into a metal vessel. He was able to seal them in the original stories and stuff. Solomon was into metal vessels, but you said that when they're sealed, it's like a little symbol.
Yeah.
So that's like a brand. Then, I guess
it's pretty much if somebody it's the same symbol for everybody's metal vessel, and if they see that symbol, they know that they are a dungeon capture and they have an alliance with a genie. So yeah, it's the metal vessels
Djinn.
are brand.
Djinn.
Sorry, see, I was saying Djinn. Thank you. But yeah, so that's how people know that these are dungeon capturers, because they have these metal vessels that have that same symbol on them.
No, like I said, I just was doing some research on
Yeah.
that stuff, and I just wanted to see, you know, versus the mythology, how close it might have followed. So that's interesting that the Ring of Solomon was what he used to brand
And they
it.
do
And
mention
there is
Solomon.
a lot of that
Yeah.
in there, and that they are branded normally to a metal
Vessel. They
thing
call
of
them vessel.
something.
Yes, and it's always something that means something to the person. And what's really neat too is, so it's kind of cool because you have the dungeon capture that has the metal vessel that has the what you called the brand.
Well, like I said, I was just seeing if that was a similarity
No,
there.
it's cool. We can roll with that. But they have all that same symbol, that same brand, so that people know that, oh, that's a dungeon capturer. And then the dungeon capturer, if they have companions that are close to them,
Yes.
then they can also have what's called household vessels. So the companions of the dungeon capturer then can also kind of piggyback off of some power as well. But that's only for really close companions of the dungeon capturer.
So is there any origins for the Djinn in this? Do they ever go into that, or are they just kind of just something that's there?
They do and they don't. There's a lot. It's actually, the first 2 seasons are around 24, 25 episodes.
But there's a lot packed into those.
It is a lot packed in. You'll miss it if you don't really pay attention to it. It can, a lot of stuff can be missed. But just as a recap, the first season is basically the story of how Aladdin and Alibaba meet and how he becomes for the first time a dungeon like he actually he captures a dungeon and gets an alliance.
He as in...
Alibaba, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure because I know we were discussing
Aladdin is the Magi. So Alibaba is a regular person.
Yeah, just like anyone walking up.
That captures a dungeon. He has this intense weapon, and he tries to go stronger and stronger because he wants to be able to protect people and you know, be this...
The hero's journey.
Exactly. Aladdin is what's called a Magi.
Oh, what's that?
So they're like these very, very powerful magicians. There's only supposed to be 3 of them at a time in the world.
Magis.
Yes, Magis. There's
Which
only
is what
supposed to be
Aladdin
3.
is.
Which is what Aladdin is.
Just trying to keep this straight for you people.
Yes. And every Magi is supposed to have what's called a king's candidate. They're supposed to choose this person that is worthy of a king. And Aladdin chooses Alibaba as his king's candidate.
Interesting.
But I'm not going to go into... It's got some really cool twists and some really cool, oh my gosh moments, so I really don't want to spoil anything for anybody.
We're just kind of discussing the overall story and plot and possible elements to mythology.
Yes. So the first season is really about their journey together. And you do meet other characters like Morgiana. You meet Sinbad.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. You know, it's just the stage name, actually, for David Atkins, who's known by his stage name Sinbad. He's an American stand-up comedian and actor, which some people might know of.
I don't know if it's the same guy.
You sure it's not Sinbad?
No. I think it's a different guy.
Oh, I must be thinking of the actor Sinbad. But on that note, there is a weird connection to him and, I'm going to say genies, because that's what it was referred to in the movie. Apparently, if you guys want more information on this, check out our friends over at Secret Transmission for the Mandela Effect, because there isn't one of these for this one. Apparently, a lot of people think Sinbad was in a movie in the early 90s called Shazam. I'm sure you're probably sitting there wondering, going, what movie is that? Well, it probably was actually the movie called Kazam, featuring a genie played by Shaq. So there's your full roundabout on that one. Yeah. Go check it out. Go check out their podcast. They discuss these Mandela effects and possible slips in time and space. That once again is Secret Transmission. Go check them out. They have Mandela effects like we have DC news updates.
Yes.
I digress.
May I take back over?
Yes. Okay. Sorry for the dumb humor.
Oh, it's entertaining enough. So, Judar is a really, really interesting character. He's the first time that you really get to find out about dark Djinn type thing going on. What happens is the ruh, which I'll back that up a little bit. Ruh is like the life essence.
So, let me see if I can translate this into something people might know then. Ki energy from Dragon Ball Z. Mm-hmm. Chakra from Naruto.
Right.
Same thing.
Yeah, so pretty much basically the same thing. You have this essence in you. It's usually white and fluttery, like little fireflies flying around.
And isn't that what it normally is in the show too?
Yes. Well, yeah. And most people can't see it.
Oh.
Well, of course, Magi can see the ruh from anybody. Like, they can see it no matter what. Really, really, really powerful magicians, high level, like elite level magicians can see it. But very rare people can actually see it unless it's just this huge amount, and then people can see it. But if you use too much of it up, it can kill you. Like, you can die if you deplete yourself of all of your ruh. And with Judar, it's the first time in the series that you see the ruh black. So it turns dark. And that's referred to as the fallen.
Oh.
So if it goes black, they've fallen. And so that's where you get your light versus dark kind of storyline in there. And it's really interesting. You see instead of Djinn that are happy and blue and exciting and fun, they are black now. So the Djinn are black Djinn.
Oh, so there are other colors of Djinn then.
Right. The people with the fallen ruh, they will have dark Djinn.
Okay.
I guess. Yes.
Well, like I said, according to the research, the black Djinn are supposed to be kings, but once again, we've already established that they probably don't follow the mythos and the coloration of the Djinn.
Right.
In this.
Yeah, so
you mentioned Sinbad, who once again is somebody that a lot of people probably know about from storytelling and different tales and everything. He conquered the seas and everything like that, and apparently is a pretty big character in this as somebody who no, so you see him in the first season, but then you see him a lot more in the second season, because the second season focuses more on this impending great war between several nations. And that's the other thing I found interesting when I did peek in on you watching this show, is it seems like there are analogs for different ancient civilizations at the time too. Like there's very obvious Romans, and I think there's like a more Chinese or Asian influenced country in there. So that's really it's interesting, because it seems
the Romans are like the Faunalese.
Yes.
So they're this group of like a tribe, so to speak, that is just they're so like superhuman strong. They all have this really bright red hair, and they have the armor that's like gold plated and
very Roman-esque. When I walked by, like I legitimately walked by and went, those look like Romans, and kind of just walked off, and was then later confirmed that was correct.
Yes. So they
quote unquote.
Right. In their interpretation, I guess is what you do it. But so it's interesting, and Aladdin, remember Aladdin's the Magi.
Yes.
He goes to this country that is supposedly run by just magicians, which is very abnormal for the whole world.
Interesting.
And he goes there and he suppresses his ruh, so he only has the ruh of a normal person, because he's afraid if he has the normal stuff that he has to tap into, that somebody will be able to tell he's a Magi, and he's trying to keep that a secret.
Okay.
Yeah, because he wants to, similar to, this is funny that we're referencing all these different shows, similar to Airbender, where each one of them has like the one they're born with, the special, like he was air, but then he has to go learn fire and wind and all that.
Talking about Avatar for that explanation.
Yes, the Avatar, not the Avatar, The Last Airbender. Kind of a similar thing. The Magi will have they're strong ones, but then they can learn how to use other types of magic.
Interesting.
And they have heat and strength and wind, sound, water. So there's all kinds of different magics that they can summon and use. But just keep in mind, he's trying to stay hidden because while he's there as a student trying to learn all this. And there's this huge story going on that the end is this epic battle. And there's a lot of characters that you think are one way and you find out that the other. A lot of shocks and turns. So I don't want to ruin any of that. It's a great series. I highly recommend watching it. But the second season does more focus on Aladdin.
So we brought up, of course, the Disneyfied version of Aladdin. And does Aladdin have a genie in this as well? I don't think we've referenced that or not yet.
So he starts out with one.
Okay.
And in the first season, he doesn't really realize what he is. He doesn't realize he's a Magi.
Oh.
He thinks he's just a
average person.
Just a person that, has this little flute and he can summon the powers and he can bring this genie out. And he doesn't understand how he can do it. And he doesn't remember where he comes from. So it's a journey for him as well to kind of learn what is a Magi and how did he become one. But he did have, in the beginning of the series, he did kind of have his own genie. Mm-hmm. So I guess in that aspect, you can kind of compare it to the Aladdin Disney cartoon because Aladdin does have a genie.
Yes.
But then
Now, do they grant wishes in this, or are they just sort of weapons of war?
They're more weapons of war. Now, some magicians and some people have what's called life magic, where they can heal people.
Yes.
And they can do that kind of thing, but it's not really wish granting. So
okay, so they're kind of there as, let me play this trump card sort of thing.
Yes, and kind of going back on your weapons of war, you see that a lot more in the season 2 of where the magicians came from and the struggle that they've had to go through over the years and why they're a little jaded towards people that aren't magicians because how they were used, like they were used basically. So yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I guess my other thing, since we're on the Disneyfication of this story, is...
You keep changing. Disneyfication.
It's whatever. We mentioned Jafar.
Yes.
Now, of course, everyone's going to be like, oh, he's evil. But in this, is he? Because you've kind of...
I don't really want to say much. I don't want to spoil anything for other people that may not want to be spoiled.
Cool. I just know that name popped up, and I was like,
He is in the show.
Okay.
He is like an advisor.
Does he have a wisecracking parrot?
No.
Oh, okay.
But he is an advisor to Sinbad.
Oh.
That's all I'm going to say.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Was Jafar an advisor to somebody in the Aladdin movie?
The Sultan.
What? So I'm just saying it's interesting, but I don't want to say anymore.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yes. Just wanted to get in with Sinbad real quick.
Okay.
So there is a third season. It's not really a continuation after the second one. It's more of a prequel. Okay. And it follows the young life of...
So that one you said is a Netflix exclusive. So that is definitely a Netflix one you have to watch on Netflix.
Yeah, that's a Netflix original.
All right.
And it's a shorter one. It's only about 13, 14 episodes versus the normal 24, 25. Mm-hmm. And it follows, like I said, it follows the adventures of Sinbad since when he was younger. And it kind of shows you how he got to being the person he becomes.
Someone
in the
who's
show.
Controlling 7 Djinn and
so
ruling a kingdom.
He rules a kingdom in the first 2 seasons, and he captured 7 dungeons. So he has an alliance with 7 different Djinn, and So
if you need somebody in your raid party, if you see username Sinbad, send a friend request.
Yes, exactly. And actually, when he captured the 7th dungeon, that Djinn basically cut him off. He's like, sorry, no more for you.
Okay, never mind. Apparently do not request Sinbad for your raid party tonight.
Sorry. So he's not allowed to have any more metal vessels. He got cut off. Too many drinks at the Djinn bar. Sorry. I know I'm cheesy. So, it is kind of cool to be able to see how he became the way he did. What kind of past did he come from? What things in his past inspired him to become the person that he became? So it's pretty cool. I like that series too.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I just thought it was neat because when you had mentioned earlier about the, people maybe don't think about it, but Sinbad, the conqueror of the seven seas, that kind of thing, and he has 7 Djinn because of the 7 dungeons.
Show,
it's just neat how it seems like they try to link everything.
It's obvious they did definitely take certain influences and certain stuff from the research I did on a lot of the mythos and stuff. And I'm going to say this right now. I did light research, mind you. Very light research.
There's so much out there.
Yeah, there's a lot on this. So.
Yeah, so overall, I highly, highly recommend the series. It's a great series. The first 2 seasons are fantastic. And if you watch it and really enjoy Sinbad and want to see some more backstory on him, then you can watch Adventures of Sinbad as well. But it's really good. Please go out and watch it. And I also thought it was neat. Not only did he have the seven Djinn, what's cool about the show on Netflix about his life is they show how he was actually the first person to ever capture a dungeon too. So, yep. So that's kind of cool too.
Interesting. All right. Well, that was our discussion on
Magi.
So if you want to check out that show, of course, as we said,
yes,
Netflix definitely might be on Crunchyroll or Hulu. We didn't check because, well, we know it's on Netflix.
I don't know about Hulu, but it definitely would be on Crunchyroll.
So
probably the subtitled version, not the dubbed. Dubbed is on Crunchyroll. I'm sorry, dubbed is on Netflix if you don't want to read subtitles.
So that would be the one for me. Awesome. Well, that sounds like a cool show. I'm very glad we got to have a Ellie's Anime Corner again to discuss an anime. I'm sure we could come up with another one sometime.
I could talk about anime all day long.
And I just had fun doing, some research on, the possible stories that this came from and a lot of the mythos behind possibly where they got some of the ideas for this show.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I guess we're going to go because we got another review to read.
Yes.
Before we wrap the show up today.
Sweet.
So would you like to read our review?
Yes, I would love to. Okay. So we got a review on iTunes, 5-star.
You want your review read? Give us a 5-star review on iTunes.
Yes, please. By Tales from the Fandom Podcast. And they put, really enjoy getting to listen to the different podcast episodes. Enjoyed the Star Wars The Phantom Menace review, as well as discussion of DLC for video games. Keep on rocking. David with Tales from the Fandom.
And he is actually a good friend of the podcast. You can check him out. He, as we have mentioned earlier, Awesome Con's coming up. He he has interviews with tons of people from different fandoms. I know he really likes people who do the cosplaying and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And you can definitely check him out. Once again, that is Tales from the Fandom. So check him out.
Yes.
We might be seeing some people he's discussed stuff with or had on his podcast at Awesome Con because we're going to be there.
Speaking of Awesome Con, it's pretty awesome.
Yes.
And it's if you're on the East Coast.
Yes.
It's DC basically.
Once again, we are not sponsored.
I wish I was. No.
I wish we were.
But it's in my opinion, it's one of the best on the East Coast. It's great for whether you're a comic book fan, movie fan,
podcast fan.
There you go, podcast fan. They have a lot of toys there. It's pretty much anything.
And the most important thing of all, though, we'll be there.
Well, of course. I mean,
not doing any panels or anything, but we'll be there.
Yes.
So come find us.
Basically, anything you like pop culture, they probably would have something there for you. It's actually a great, great, great show, and they have lots of guests there every year. And
when is that this year?
That is going to be June 16th to the 18th.
All right, so that's awesome. And like we said, check out his podcast. That's, of course, once again, Tales from the Fandom. Mm-hmm. So he, like I said, discusses plenty of different stuff. If you're a fan of what we do, you definitely would probably be a fan of what people who he talks to on his podcast.
Yeah.
So we got another little thing we're going to talk about real quick.
Yes.
Because there's some games there's a particular game that came out recently that we are currently playing, and we were going to discuss at the beginning of the show. But I guess this is what we're going to be doing over the next week.
And I've played more than he has.
Oh, darn it. So we picked up Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes, it's great so far.
I've enjoyed it a lot.
I like the so many questions. Like,
that's the other thing. Doesn't really. It's a game that's gonna have you questioning a lot of stuff.
And it does have you break down. You know how some games are famous for choices.
Yes.
And now it does have a strength, a heart, and what's the other one? You know, it has like the brain, the heart, and then the.
I can't remember what it is right now.
What is the third one?
I haven't gotten to play it recently because someone's been playing it too much.
Sorry.
Anyway, so they have that. Like I said, we're both playing it, so we might be having a further discussion on that later.
Make sure you have a fondness of bow and arrows, because it does have a lot of bow and arrows.
If you follow us on Twitch, that might be something you'll see us playing and discussing.
It's really good so far. I really, really like it.
So if you follow us on Twitch, you can, of course, we'll probably be playing it a little bit. I can almost guarantee that. And
you probably want me to play it instead of him. This is more my game. Thanks.
So you can follow us on Twitch to watch us play it. Twitch.tv/Zeng This. You can also find us on SoundCloud. Zeng This. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes. And that's, of course,
Zeng This.
And we will read it on the podcast. We greatly appreciate, all the help that you guys are giving us there. You can find our Facebook page.
Zeng This.
You can find us on Twitter.
@Zeng This.
Find us on Instagram.
@Zeng This Podcast.
And if you want to support the podcast, you can go to
www.patreon.com/Zeng This.
And if you want to email us directly,
email us at zingthis@gmail.com.
Finally, DJ Golden Boy.
Play us out. I'm having too much fun with this.
I know you are.